All right, I think we are live. Hello, everybody. Hi, and welcome to the Mondo Happy Hour Comic-Con edition. This is kind of what we're planning on for Comic-Con 2020. We can't all be in San Diego together this year, which is a major bummer. So we thought the next best thing would be kind of streaming into your living rooms and kind of taking it online. So over the next maybe, I think, 5 days, from today until Sunday, daily we'll be having new releases across all categories: posters, records, pins, apparel, puzzles, games. It's going to be fun. And in the evenings and throughout the day, there will also be kind of panels and live streams. So I would encourage to find out what we're doing, to go to mondoshop.com. I think it's /comic-con and kind of get an up-to-date look at our schedule. But this is the kind of the kickoff. We have a happy hour tonight, and I'm joined here by my cohorts in crime, Mitch Putnam and Rob Jones. And we are joined by a very special guest. Mr. Martin Ansin is here. We're here to talk about a new poster that we released today for a movie that I think maybe some people might have heard of.
Yeah, Martin's a criminal, dude. He fucking killed this poster.
I didn't do it.
But how you doing, Martin?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me. It's a lot of fun to see you guys after so long. Yeah.
Now you're in Houston right now, right, Martin?
No, I'm a little bit down south from there, man. I don't know if anyone actually knows, but I live in Uruguay. I'm in Montevideo right now, at home. Yep.
Yeah, Martin's.
That's the future for you.
you have been to. Yeah, that is the future, man. We're able to talk, and thanks again for making time and for popping in here. But yeah, this is actually not your first kind of go around participating in Comic-Con. You actually were at Comic-Con. I think it was 2013. We did a Conan the Barbarian poster with you, and you went out there for the show.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was fun. Several years ago, but yeah, man. So we just wanted to catch up and talk about Star Wars. We released a new poster today. It's called The Ways of the Force. It is a Star Wars A New Hope poster. It's available as a timed edition. There was a foil variant that I believe as of now is sold out. But the timed edition regular is available, and that's going to run through Sunday, July 26th, up until midnight Central Time. So check it out, and we'll be talking about it here. So I'm sure shortly we'll start diving into the poster and just kind of unpacking all that there is to it, and there's a lot to it.
I wanted to ask a question to start this. Martin, how long did you work on this poster?
I don't know. I probably lost track.
It was a long time.
We've been at this for many months. Many months. Yes.
Yeah, I think that one of the interesting things about it is we got a certain portion of the way through it, and we're kind of asking like, "Hey, man, what's taken so long?" And your answer was kind of that you were working on a more refined version of your style and trying to switch things up a bit, and that it was taking a really long time. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Can you bring the poster up?
Sure, bring it up. But the thing with when you put yourself in my place, you kind of give me a poster to do, and it's A New Hope. This is one shot. I mean, it's you gotta really give it everything that you got in this opportunity. It's never gonna come back to you. So I really wanted to put everything that I could in it. Not every character, but give the wider sample of everything that's cool about it, and try not to leave anything out. And at the same time, what you said about the style, what I was trying to do is refine the way that I could picture the actors, and the characters, and get that likeness really right. Not only in the way that they looked, but in the way that they would be expressing their story through the movie. I wanted to get Mark Hamill really right in his likeness in the first movie, and look in the poster with the kind of hopefulness for the future and looking into adventure as you kind of know that is his process through it. That took a lot of time because you don't actually get any reference that works that way. So you kind of have to make it up from 1,000 pieces and see that everything fits together. It is a bunch of work. And
who's toughest, Martin? Traditionally, it's always supposed to be Harrison Ford, but was Mark Hamill actually the toughest this time around, or who do you think?
Harrison is tough because he's really not symmetrical, in his likeness.
I've never tried to draw him. I don't know.
Okay, one side of his face is not the same as the other. So depending on what angle you have to do him, it's not really the same. Mark is tough too because, as you know, his likeness is not exactly the same in the first and in the second and third movie. As the same as his haircut was different, for instance.
Also the huge auto accident he was in that ripped off his nose, but
yeah. So it's tricky when you kind of have to get a reference and at the same time try to work up an idealized image. You can't really be super direct because you're just putting a photo in the poster.
I love what you got with him though, because he actually kind of reminds me of Empire Strikes Back Luke in that he looks like the Luke that's going to take on the whole Empire by himself.
Yeah, but
it's just a really nice look. He just looks so
maybe, but if this was an Empire poster, he wouldn't be looking up so much. He'll probably be looking in front because he's got a progression through the first, the three, the original Sega. So I kind of wanted to have him be surprised and amazed and engaged in the adventure that he kind of wanted so much, looking at the twin suns and in the scene in Tatooine. He's kind of, I don't know, opening up to the continuation of what will come later on. So yeah, every character is tough. Every little one thing is tough.
Well, we've done a lot of Star Wars posters, and no one I believe has included Biggs, Porkins, and Wedge Antilles. And what I love about that is usually when a scene like this is shown in the bottom right corner, it's just who's flying the X-wings, but you're not sure which is which. And here you can really know that's Wedge's X-wing, and oh my God, that's Porkins, and he's getting blown up. Oh, poor Porkins. What made you want to actually just kind of humanize those X-wings for this? I'm curious.
And I think added to that, where do you even begin to start? So Rob asked a great question, but just in general with the composition, because there is a lot of the movie in the poster, if not the full story, kind of starting from the center and emanating outward. Like, just where do you even begin to kind of put, pencil to paper, so to speak, as far as like composition? I think a lot of folks watching are fans of yours, to say the least, and one of the things you're known for is just kind of brilliant composition. So I'd love to kind of hear how that process sort of starts to take shape.
Okay, yeah. It's a combination of first me trying to switch things up a little. And the first thing that I wanted to do was maybe try to bring some sequential images into a poster. I probably didn't do it, and then ended up doing something related to that and unrelated. But yeah, there are little scenes in some places in the poster that you can actually follow a progression of events, right? So in the case of a Death Star attack, in the lower right corner, what's happening there is pretty much just a little comic book in a way, right? So instead of having defined panels, would you have a diagram of the action in a way? And I decided to put a little bubble next to each aircraft with who's piloting it, so that you can see what's happening to each of them. So then you can see you got Porkins blowing up, you got Wedge, you got Biggs, you got the TIE fighter pilot shooting and destroying one of them. Yeah, right there. And at the end of that curve that kind of defines the diagram in a way, you got Luke shooting the torpedoes into the Death Star, failure point. So yeah, it's like kind of like a little comic book in a way.
No, it's really dude, I am out of it. I'm sorry. There we go. It's I was so amazed too by just like you said, 3 beats. You covered the whole movie from left to right immediately. I've never seen anyone handle an X formation or X composition like this.
Mm-hmm.
I know when you first showed it to us. Let's share this story real quick. I was like really amazed. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool that you used kind of like a Ralph McQuarrie-esque looking Darth Vader helmet, but I don't know if they're going to go for that. And your reply was, that's exactly Darth Vader's helmet. I took it from a photograph from A New Hope. Man, what are you talking about? And I was like, whoa, you made that look really slick. And that's a really great decision. What is there anything that like pushed you towards that, or anything you had to worry about how to make the lenses too red or not red enough?
Yeah, no, you're right that it's kind of a McQuarrie send up maybe, but I did take as much care as I could to keep to the A New Hope helmet version. It's not it's not trying to be stylized at all. I actually did gather a lot of reference and as many photos as I could of the set prop and all that. But at the same time, the original prop is not as polished or shiny as it is in this final poster. So I did kind of pretty it up a little, but I really did do my best to keep to the to the actual reference that needs to be there.
It's kind of like what you're talking about. We're talking about Empire Strikes Back. Because Empire, it's almost like you've seen it so shiny and slick in Empire, you almost change your memory of it in A New Hope and forget how fingerprinty and crappy it looked.
No, you might remember that in A New Hope, it was the whole thing wasn't shiny, really polished at all, and it was kind of a cheaper looking maybe. Yeah, the visor in the helmet was really red, eye pieces, and you actually could see through the whole helmet when the guy looked at on the profile.
You consider drawing, seeing through it?
No. I couldn't really show behind the helmet at all. It's something that I'm not actually allowed to decide, I guess, right? Who is actually behind the helmet?
You can try.
But yeah.
So it's going to be up to Star Wars, man.
But every nut and bolt on the Vader's lightsaber is actually accurate, I'm sure, and as well as the glove and all that. Yeah, that's it's the only way to go. Yeah.
One of my favorite details on the Star Wars poster, and it's almost kind of crazy to call out because there's a lot going on, but just the reflection of the saber in Vader's mask in the lens, and also just kind of on that like cheek area. That's such an awesome detail coming from the saber cutting through the poster. That's just from when you sent it in, for whatever reason, that's just kind of what my eye honed in on, and I love it. So there's no question there. I just wanted to comment that's a great detail that I love.
Dude, I agree with you because I love how that fucking lightsaber reflects that one thing. It makes it look like it's almost like a serpent's eye a little bit. It makes Vader seem more evil by that little kind of weird vertical slit.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I tried to do this one like it's full of detail, but at the same time, if you look at it from afar, you actually do see Vader as a first, impression in the poster, and hopefully what draws you in and makes you look at it in more detail. And it's there are kind of like differences in scale that work as a whole, depending on where you look at it. My intention, I guess, is that hopefully it draws you in and keeps you busy looking at all the little things. Like,
what was your first memory of Star Wars, Martin? Like, when did you first see it?
Star Wars probably was I
You're a kid, I'm assuming.
I saw the first. I saw A New Hope and Empire back to back when I was like first grade school. Yeah.
Your first time seeing Star Wars was also seeing Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, well, the thing is, no, I mean, I didn't see them like on release at all. I actually saw them on a screening that they did in a neighborhood cinema, which they would actually take all the kids from the school to the movies, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they even charge you, an entrance or anything. And they would do that. It was a really weird thing. If you go the next week, Star Wars will be gone, and they will probably have Bruce Lee movies. Who knows?
Star Wars only lasted a week in Money Video.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. No, but it was actually cool, pretty cool, really old movie house that is probably destroyed by now. And Return of the Jedi I probably saw on TV as a kid. Yeah. And the whole fan face with Star Wars and all that probably came some years after that as a teenager. But yeah. It wasn't easy to get movies on release sometimes over here.
I never thought about that, Eric, because since you're so much younger than us, did you get to see all three at once? Like, you didn't have to wait at all to like figure out what happened? Like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was born in '89, so the movies already existed, at least as the trilogy, by the time I was of age to watch it.
I was saying, when you rented it, they're like, you want to rent all three right now?
Yeah, I got news for you, Rob. By the time I was watching movies, all three were out too.
Oh wow.
And I'm quite a bit older than Eric, so
quite a bit. I'd say maybe like 3 years. But anyway, here nor there. We're gonna kind of reserve the back half of the show to take some Q&A. I see some questions coming in, but I did want to address one from Low Rank here. He sent one in. Why did you go with the foil variant this time? Sort of how was the process and what was the thinking behind that? Martin?
I liked using foil, but foil, sometimes it's the best way to go to like in general when you kind of use that is to consider at the start, and that's not really the case with this poster. I mean, it was in the back of my mind probably, but I didn't really plan for it as an effect. Mostly because I really didn't want to use too many inks like on the regular. So I used the color, as the paper of the color of the paper as a base color in the combination of the palette. So once you start defining, your rendering that way, foil changes everything up because foil might not reflect anything sometimes, depending on what light is in front of it, and it pretty much fucks up your whole deal. So
that's a good point. I mean, I would, and Rob maybe have the same thought in his head, but you have such an elegant use to foil whenever you do use it. I mean, you're Ghost in the Shell and you're into the Spider-Verse. It's not too much. What sort of thought process goes in, whenever you're looking or you're working on the poster, on the regular artwork, for example, when that sort of snaps and you decide that you want to try a foil, how do you go about deciding what elements would work best or what elements you think are most interesting?
Yeah, I think there's two things that I take into account, and that's first, how would this look hanging on someone's house or anywhere, and is it really worth it to mess up with the the presentation of the image by using some foil. I mean, if I can use it, I'll try to use it as another color or as a special effect in a way, and that is a super flashy way of having something that reflects light back at you just because it's shiny. If it adds to the thing, and if we can make it be like a foily lightsaber, yeah, that's cool. But just because you want to jazz it up just because you need to, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. I say normally
it has to fit in the language of the image. Otherwise, it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah, normally we don't try to do much foil. We know it sells well and easily, but if it looks crappy, then what's the point? Just for sales, it's gross.
That's right.
But Martin is one of the few people who are like, oh shit, I can't wait to see what this guy does with foil on this one. And every time, my favorite personally is Man Who Fell to Earth, because it's just that thinner strip of bowling.
Family. Well, that's a really good example where foil was used to an effect that had an actual message tied to it. Because in the Man Who Fell to Earth poster, the part that's in foil is actually like a window to another dimension, right? So it actually adds to the design and the composition and the concept. That's the best way, in my mind, to actually.
I thought it was a window into his soul, Martin. But if you want to say another dimension,
yeah. Fun. Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
I mean, the funny thing about that poster, well, not funny, but actually tragic, was it took so long to get approved, I think, because you hit it so close to home. It was just so soon after Bowie's departure. And it just
that's right.
really captured, I think, probably what his family was feeling, but in reverse. And probably what he was feeling. He had to leave everybody, too.
Yeah. That's right. Well, it wasn't. Well, I mean, I'm just lucky that we actually managed to, make it available and that it's out there.
And that poster also took 2 years. Oh my God! I'm realizing every poster of yours takes 2 years now.
Well, that's one tough rendering process. But yeah, I don't know. Do you remember how many inks we used on that one? It's like 12 inks, 15 maybe.
It's something nuts.
Yeah, Man Who Fell. That sounds about right.
How many is Star Wars again?
It was 9.
Okay. That's pretty impressive. I think most people would guess more than that. It's that's it's they kind of it's like reducible, but kind of it's like into halves. So you have your warm colors, and you have like 3 or 4 colors that kind of add up to a gradient, and then you have your cold colors and do the opposite thing of the spectrum. And with that, you can pretty much do a whole image with some kind of range. It's tough when you have to do a variant and fuck everything up and change colors around, because you have to do something that's really different to the standard. So all the everything you prepared as a way of rendering flesh tones, for instance, kind of pretty much goes out the window if you're not really careful. It's really hard to do variants actually for me, and I don't know. I actually do a lot of prep work with the palettes and everything for the standard. So I kind of backtracking to do a variant kind of tricky. Yeah.
We should. I know we're here to talk about Star Wars, but we should talk about Man Who Fell to Earth, because I think collectively this is. Well, I think we're on record saying this, but I think everybody at Mondo, this is just our favorite poster, like Mondo poster of all time, because it's perfect. So, and that poster did have a long road, from just artwork into final release. Similar, like Rob was saying, similar to Star Wars. This Star Wars poster, I think I remember talking about it at like creative summits like a year and a half ago. So it's had a long, it's been a minute to get here. So I mean, how do you feel about Man Who Fell to Earth, Martin, whenever you look back at it, kind of a couple years removed?
I actually feel really good about it. It's I'm not super happy with most of my, previous stuff in general. I mean, I don't actually hang up my own stuff in my home like at all, because I don't really want to be. No, really.
No,
I don't really want to
at all. Wow, amazing.
No, I mean it's no, there's actually one room that I actually sometimes use something, but yeah, this one I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It was really tough movie to do a poster for, because it's so surreal and kind of it's hard movie to kind of put a finger on what the actual meaning of the thing is until you actually figure it out. I think that's what took the most time for me, actually.
I had a teacher in advertising school told me a story about seeing a parent or seeing a person die horribly, and keeps telling the story, and you're saying, well, why didn't you do anything about it? And by the end of the story, you realize she was watching a play, and her point was that's what it felt like when her mother passed away from cancer. I felt like I was watching a play because I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I could only sit there and watch. And I think for your poster, for Boy, that was the finger I think you put on it. He's doing everything he can to figure out a way of saving his family back on Mars. And he does nothing but fail at it. And there's nothing he can do but sit there on Earth knowing his family's dying. And all you can do is just get drunk and go, shit, I tried.
I think that what Rob said earlier is really important, because I am not usually into foil posters at all. I am probably the main arguer against it in the company, actually, just because I think that if it's
don't have to argue much.
If it's done poorly, I think that it sort of signals taking money where it shouldn't be taken. I think that a lot of times it's just used as a gimmick, and it's sort of what happened in comics. And I think that if it's not used for a reason, that it's a problem. And so I think it is really telling that I'm over here as a foil hater, now have Man Who Fell to Earth and Ghost in the Shell, which I think Eric can pull up here, as two of my favorite posters we've ever done. And they're both on foil. And that's unbelievably rare because, again, I don't usually like foil, but you're using it in such an interesting way that it actually makes the poster more than it is.
It makes it come alive.
Thanks, man.
That Ghost in the Shell, especially. That thing, good Lord, here's how important it is, Martin. I don't remember the first time I saw many objects that I bought, like an action figure or a printer or a computer screen. For every one of these, I remember the first time seeing that Ghost in the Shell poster, and I can't say that for a lot of posters we put out. But being at MondoCon and seeing that in person and going, good Lord. It was like an angel landed on paper. It's really nice.
Yeah, putting that on screen at the end of the movie. For those unaware, we premiered Ghost in the Shell at MondoCon, the Martin's poster, and it was a mystery movie, I think. But the way that works, we show the movie, and then at the end, you wait to see the artwork, and we kind of put it big and loud on screen on the movie theater screen. Man, I miss movie theaters. I wish I missed movie theaters. But anyway, yeah. So at the end of the reveal, when we put this on the screen, there was just an audible gasp of just everybody just kind of being blown away seeing it, and that's one of my top 10 favorite moments of working at this company. So yeah, I mean, we could talk about your history with Mondo, all day.
Hey, let's talk about that. Hey, how did you get to start working with Mondo? Mitch, that's your story.
Yeah, I think I saw. Oh boy, what?
THX 1138.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. His THX poster somewhere on the internet, and this is, we're talking. What are we talking here? 2010, Martin, probably.
No, probably 2008.
Yeah.
Okay,
9 maybe. I don't know.
9 must be 9 then, because I didn't work here in 2008. But so 2009. So the reason I bring up the year is to say, there were not a lot of illustrated alternative movie posters being done, especially just to be done as a portfolio piece. And so seeing something like that was rare and kind of new right away. Again, normally the job back then was see another type of illustration, wonder if they could work for movie posters. And this was one of the rare occasions where we saw a movie poster and knew that it could work. So then that's when...
Well, Mitch is caught up, but one thing to say is also is for THX 1138, and your other poster you had on your site, I remember at the time, was Night Porter, and I was like, wow, this guy gets it. He's watching awesome movies. He's not just a guy drawing features.
I think that my intention was to like do movie poster, but not the whole blockbuster poster. Just something that's challenging and different and wasn't actually done before. And pretty much anything that was, underground would have worked for me at the moment. And just because you're not constrained by any other movie posters that were done for that movie before, so it's kind of easier to start that way, I guess, without any preconceived notions for a poster for that movie.
I'm curious, Martin, if you could make a poster for any Toho movie, what would it be?
I'm not really super familiar with everything Toho.
Godzilla and Kurosawa, basically, is what your choices are.
Oof.
What a weird way to put somebody on the spot.
Yeah.
You were gone, Mitch. I was trying to cover for you, man.
Anyway, yeah. So I reached out, and I think the first one we did was it Metropolis or Phantom of the Opera?
The first was,
right.
I think the first was Metropolis.
Yeah,
I think that was the first one.
And again, instantly blown away. I don't want to just spend this whole hour gassing up Martin's head, but it's rare that we have like 100% hit rate with anybody, and I feel like we've pretty much been there with Martin. And that's that's saying a lot. Any mistakes that Martin has made has been due to our hiring mistakes, not his execution of the idea. So we went through a period in his career where we were really trying to hit some sci-fi movies before they came out and sort of catch the hype. And unfortunately, Martin's a really good sci-fi poster artist, so he did some movies that were probably a little bit of a tough sell. But again, that was on us. But from day one, Metropolis, I mean, if you go back, it's one of the most valuable Mondo posters in existence. Same with Phantom of the Opera. This is what he came into the game with, were those. So it's honestly been a pretty smooth. I mean, do we ever even give you art direction? I don't know if we even do. You pretty much got it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you do. And I'm not super jealous of anything. I mean, I really like to think of this as a collaborative thing. Most of all, when it's you guys, on the other side, and considering what we actually should do and what's best for the thing. I actually do love comments and art direction and all that. Absolutely.
I'm remembering on Family Opera. I don't remember any on Wrath of Khan. I know two pieces on Wrath of Khan. I suggested a constellation in the background, and you suggested, "Hey, let's print this on wood." And I went, "Star Trek on wood? Why?" And you went, "Trust me," and we did.
Yeah, that was dumb.
So Phantom of the Opera is one.
It makes sense. It makes sense for Dracula to do the coffin-shaped version.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera. Hang on. Phantom of the Opera and Dracula are just a couple of a series that has so far unfinished of Universal Monsters, and there's been. Oh, that's my phone. I'm sorry.
Have we told people that he did a Creature of the Black Lagoon a long time ago, but he's never finished it?
It's murky.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at, there have been a couple comments that I've seen come in about a few more Universal Monster posters that you have not or movies that you have not touched. And I guess I'm here to say that we are going to be doing more. We're talking with Martin already about kind of what the next one is going to be, and so there will be more Universal Monsters.
Let's go.
I thought it was mole people, right? No.
Let's go ahead and answer the question that's been most asked here, because I honestly don't know the answer to this. So it's Comic-Con week. Let's go ahead and have this discussion. If A New Hope does well, Martin, do you want to do the other two Star Wars movies? What's the plan?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's this one had such a long process that it's I don't know. I would I do a series like every little, I wouldn't replicate the thing, but yeah, I would do the rest.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I mean, up until maybe I don't know, Phantom Menace, but
that's it. How
No,
about
no,
doing
no.
this
Just
trilogy?
the
one
first
for
3.
each part. Do
Yeah,
Phantom
just
Menace, New Hope, and A Force Awakens, and that's it.
Just the original.
I
No,
mean,
just the original. No.
There's so much stuff to choose from. Why would you? I mean, there's Chewbacca goes to Christmas and everything.
I would love to do Chewbacca.
Like an all Wookiee poster, that'd be great.
But yeah, I think that the main takeaway that we've had internally is this poster did take an unbelievably long time. And so if this poster does well, I think that's a real conversation to have. But it is totally a time versus reward calculation here. But yeah, I think that early returns are showing that I think there's a pretty good chance that we'll make some more Star Wars posters with Martin.
A couple. I want to start kind of filtering in a couple questions, and maybe we'll use the last, the next 20 minutes or so to kind of pivot over to Q&A. But what did I see here? I also want to talk about this because when we talk about kind of Man Who Fell to Earth being a collective, like all of Mondo favorite poster, my personal favorite poster, in addition to Man Who Fell, is also Your Bride of Frankenstein. And I would just kind of love to unpack, any thoughts or comments or just commentary about that poster whenever you look at that was done. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious where that idea came from and how you executed it. The actual medical drawing idea.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't really done at the time as a poster. I mean, I've seen the whole Victorian book of surgery thing used after that. It was pretty cool idea that wasn't used at the time. Yeah, I think that was fun. Do a pin-up glamour shot of the bride as a breakout diagram, as they used to do in the Victorian era for surgeons, with annotations on the sides of what each little part of blood vessels go from here to there, and how to put her together in a way, right? So yeah, that was fun, and give her that expression of shock that she actually has in the 5 minutes that she shows up at the end of the movie. And then that was pretty much the whole deal. After
also you did that, and first I love how you said it was a glamour shot combined with Grey's Anatomy. That's pretty crazy. But the way you did her signature stripe as a stylized Art Deco design, that was totally innovative too. I'd never seen that done combined with realistic drawing.
Can someone can you pull it up? I'll share your screen. I want to pull.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up.
Cool. Thanks.
There were a couple of graphic elements there. That were like that girl that was like really graphic, and there's also graphic that actually shows the heart on some kind of device that the doctor has to kind of test. It was sort of like a tester. It had kind of lights that did a sort of a test of electricity or something, and that's also used on the top of the design of the poster, because I wanted to kind of bring the whole idea of love, and especially with the in respect to the Frankenstein creature, and how she doesn't actually respond well at all to the poor guy. So it's kind of graphic in those elements. And then it's very naturally drawn when it comes to the fleshy bits, in a way. And things were so much simple back then. I think this is like 3 inks maybe. We didn't really need to do
those were the days. That's when the owners That's when the owners of the company loved us, when we make 3-color posters.
I mean, I actually do like to do that kind of thing, and it's a rabbit hole, trying to do super complicated, blends of color is probably the worst drain in production time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is something you in particular. I think that this is something the fans talk about a lot, right? Where it's like your old style versus your new style, and I think that in some way, though there's way more technical wizardry in something like Star Wars, I think that there is nostalgia around sort of the old screen print, flat colors and thick lines that Mondo posters used to be. And I think this is a perfect example of when that is done well.
Yeah. I actually didn't want to pay too much credit to the old or new style, because that would mean that there's a new style will be the next style. It's complicated to think those terms. But
so what will be the next style, Martin?
My next style? I wish I knew. I mean, it's got to be different, because, as you know, things are taking too long. But yeah, I mean,
good stuff takes time, man. It's all right.
It does take time, but it's not something that I enjoy it, like laboring over little details. I do like the way they look when they're done, but the process sucks. I can tell you that.
I kind of want to dive in case anyone is unaware. I kind of want to dive in a little bit behind your background and kind of history. Do you have graphic design? What were you doing before this? I know you've been primarily a professional illustrator, for 10 plus years now. But what is sort of the process that got you there?
Well, before these more or less 10 years as illustrator, I worked in advertising for pretty much 10 years before. I used to do pretty much graphic design in-house in advertising, and I wasn't really doing any illustration at all. Illustration was and drawing and painting and all that. It's something that I used to do before I even got a job in advertising. And I actually thought that drawing and would be something that I would do once I retired from my career in advertising, and kind of kept it in the back of my mind as something that I would do later on. And luckily, it didn't have to be that way, because it came to a point where I would actually have to decide whether I wanted to, continue with that career or not. And I'm super happy that I didn't, actually, because I find this doing this stuff so much fulfilling. Yeah.
Did you do any was there any formal schooling or anything, or is illustration just kind of something that you've always done?
No. I didn't do art school or anything.
Wow.
I tried. They kicked me out. They don't want me there at all. They actually, after 6 months, they say, "Hey, this is not really for you."
So, really? You really got kicked out?
Yeah, that's for real.
You got kicked out of art school? Have you been back since and said, check this shit out, or not?
I didn't really want to wait 4 years for someone to come up and tell me how to make soils. So standing around looking at the slideshows wasn't really my thing.
I pulled up this comment from Matt Taylor from earlier in the stream. Question for Martin: can you stop making the rest of us look bad? That's from Matt Taylor.
It's not personal. I think this is the beginning of the complications with rendering. This is the influx point. You see that we're starting to use more and more blends and stuff, and once you go that way, you kind of keep at it.
Yeah. I don't know. That lighting's beautiful, man. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm. What's your process for when you're when you're just kind of head down working on a project? Are you listening to podcasts? You have movies in the background, music, sort of what keeps you going, and has that changed over the years?
Yeah, maybe. I used to have, always playing music records, and all that. And then there was, it kind of comes and goes. Sometimes it's podcasts I used to do like pretty much constantly up until a year ago. And now it's probably YouTube videos or old movies, stuff that kind of keeps a background noise going, but doesn't really take me out of going, just keeping, concentrate on the thing. I don't know. Whatever.
What music were you listening to?
Try to, if it's a movie that I actually can, play, I will try to have that. Actually, having with Star Wars, seeing Star Wars was constantly on while doing the thing. Just, to have the sound going really helped me.
You didn't find that what's been playing in the background affects how you render it all?
No, I think it's a cool thing because it helps you remember the moment after you're done it. I remember when I was drawing this scene was playing in the background, and it's, I think it's a cool thing to have.
I have no idea. All I remember is playing Judy Garland and Ghostman all day, so it's the same thing.
Yeah,
lines are softer if Judy's playing.
Yeah.
I'd like to touch on something Billy Garrett brought up in the chat, which is one of your most underrated skills is your type design. It's always from the very beginning. I mean, you showed that Metropolis poster earlier. It's always been really forward thinking and modern. What kind of inspires you in that area to sort of go outside of the box completely compared to traditional movie posters?
That's cool. That's a cool question. I have a background in design, and I actually approached the posters as a design piece. It was more obvious in the earlier pieces, just because I was probably fresh out of that boat. But I do feel that it's important for my, body of work to keep that stuff going. It's illustration doesn't really need too much graphic design inside of it, and you kind of forget it after a while. That stuff, for instance, doing the title of a movie completely legible, that actually says THX 1138, and
I can read it.
Yeah, and that's actually a send out to an artist that I really like. That was from the 70s. His pieces were just like that. The guy was called Guy de Guantet. I think he was from New York, and he used to do stuff like that I really liked, and I thought it would look futuristic. So I did it kind of like that.
Well,
and
I never noticed this until just now. How come you went handwritten then? Is that just to put a human element in there?
I was going to ask the same question. Yeah.
The handwritten credit block.
The credit block is for handwritten. Yeah. It's been a while, but
it's an unusual choice since the title is just so mechanically overbearing, like a society.
My name is coming after the title of the movie. The whole thing is a portfolio piece, actually, right? It's a little bit sketchy.
What?
Oh, I see what he's saying. Did you read the credit block? It says THX is a Martin Ansin illustration of an American zoetrope production. So that's interesting because I think what you're saying is that the credit block is kind of an afterthought, but it's so funny because your afterthoughts are pretty damn good.
Are more thoughtful than most people's.
I probably treated like the legal text of in an advertising piece. Please do not put this at the rate of children or whatever.
This kind of relates to a question that I think Michael Bennett was asking. Martin, do you have any favorite either poster artists, past, present? That could be, just design in general, graphic designers. But who are some of your inspirations?
There's a bunch. I couldn't really say. I mean, the problem with keeping, your favorite poster artists in mind is that they will bleed into what you're trying to do. I love Drew Struzan's work. I love, Japanese poster. So the old graphic designers from the 60s. I don't know. All of them are great, and all those pieces are inevitably part of the language. Yeah, I mean, I can't have one favorite poster artist just because it would be like creating my own center of gravity that will pull me through towards it all the time. I try to keep a distance and look at that stuff as an audience, and not, it's tough. Yeah, trying to stay away from all that great stuff. It's impossible. Everybody's done all the solutions before you did.
Rob, do you want to pull up his Taxi Driver? I'd love to a couple people are asking about that. Maybe some commentary or insights on working on that.
Talk about Batman while I do that.
Yeah.
Talk about that neon night.
This Batman,
the bright night.
It's so good.
You know what was cool about this one? We actually had to ask for their likeness approval for the old-timey guys. Adam West has to look at it, I guess. Do you remember this? And a bunch more had to actually sign off on their likeness for the poster, which for me was like getting their blessing was absolutely amazing. I mean,
including Julie Newmar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She actually liked it, I guess. And said so, if I remember right.
She showed it to her neighbor. Do you know who actually lives next door to Julie Newmar? Mr. T. Imagine those barbecues.
All right.
Yeah. They get in fight.
That poster was also Batman 66 was used on. They put out an omnibus of the Batman 66 comics, and DC wanted to use that artwork for the cover of the book. So yeah, that poster is very very beloved.
This Taxi Driver poster is insane. I don't even know what to say about it. If we usually release rock and roll, this is the jazziest thing we've ever released. It is just wild.
I will go ahead and let me tell a quick story about Taxi Driver poster. This was done in conjunction with Martin Scorsese's Film Foundation, and part of it was we did some posters for the Film Foundation. In exchange, they would help us facilitate a Taxi Driver poster, including getting likeness rights for Robert De Niro. And we were told at the time, when De Niro looked at your poster, approved it, and signed the approval papers, he was like, "Be sure they know that you let them know I never do this." And they signed the approval. So this is apparently a one-time only De Niro kind of thing for you. That's
how does one draw?
How come I just now hear about this?
How does one draw an entire street scene completely distorted? Like, did you have to manipulate a photo in?
I did the background of that is a regular, drawing, and I actually moved the drawing. I don't know. I probably did it on paper, and I put it on a flatbed scanner and moved it while it was scanning.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that warped perspective of the background is just like that's
all it is.
I mean,
if you would use like a Xerox machine and you move the thing while the thing is scanning, you get this.
That is fascinating.
You just inspired so many people that are watching to go try that, and we're going to see this effect, I think, pop up way more.
I do remember the only piece of art direction I gave on this, which was, "Hey, can you put Sly Stallone's porno film, The Party at Kitty and Studs, on one of the things in the back?" And you obliged. I was quite happy. Right there on the right answer.
That is very interesting. I'm so glad I asked that question now, because that is one of the more interesting answers that I could have imagined. That's
Yeah, you're saying, how come you didn't know the De Niro story? We didn't know that either.
I thought he drew it. He kind of gave me. You should have not told us. We would have thought you just did this by scratch. Wow.
Let's kind of shift over. Let's take a couple more questions from the chat. So if you guys are watching, have any questions for Martin or for any of us, start rolling them in, and we'll.
I mean, I guess we didn't answer that question early, concrete enough. Yes, Martin will eventually do Creature from the Black Lagoon, because that's continued to be asked.
Martin, how many hours, if you're able to calculate, sort of hours on a piece, would you say?
I wouldn't know. It's been months and months of going back and forth with fighting the thing. I couldn't really say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible for me to.
Yeah, I've noticed with pieces like this.
I wish I actually had like a way to
clock in.
Sort of. Yeah, I mean, you actually do need to do that stuff. And it's absolutely impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah, I don't. Here's another thing. I've run into like other artists that have spent a really long time on pieces, like Mike Sutphin's SpiderMan, for instance, and he doesn't want to know how many hours, because you probably wouldn't feel great if you found out that you spent 500 hours on something, right? Like that's rough.
It's you're probably investing your time into the piece. If the piece is worth it, then the time is worth it.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a question here for me, Mitch, and Rob. What's a movie that might not have a huge audience, but in a dream world would like to see Martin tackle? It's from Alejandro.
Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai.
It's a better answer than what I was going to say. So yes, Seven Samurai.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Seven Samurai.
I was going to say an official THX 1138, but what do you want?
I might steal from Jacques here. X-Men would be a
good
one to see Martin tackle.
That might be good too.
He did not do an X-Men print. The ones we have are excellent. Oh, damn it. They're good. They're very good. And I would love to see Martin do some X-Men and or more Marvel stuff as well.
Was that a pun? Excellent.
It was, yeah.
It was not unintended one, man.
Wow.
Let's let it slide. It's all good.
I was wondering why you stepped on that so quickly.
I know. It's like Vincent Price from Batman playing Egghead.
It's just like that.
Martin, what is your dream property? If you could tackle any film or revisit any film, is there anything that we're just not offering you, that you're just like, how come these guys aren't asking me to do X?
I wouldn't know. I mean, we've done a bunch of stuff that's really cool. I wouldn't know what to ask, to do. It's sometimes it's kind of scary to, look into how to approach a new project. So it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you really would love to do something, and then you have to do it justice. And look at what happened with Star Wars. We've been at it forever, right?
I think the way you're answering these questions is really interesting, because I, at the beginning or in the middle of this talk, talked about that you've had an almost 100% hit rate here. And you notice how much weight and gravity you give every project. Like, you are going into every project feeling like you have to live up to something and do something special. And I think those aren't answers we hear that often. I think that's a lot of what makes your work look as excellent as it does.
I think that's right. I mean, thanks. And that's right in two ways. I think that I like with Star Wars, and in any movie that's a cool movie that I get to do a poster for. For me, it's a one-shot chance, and that's you gotta give it the best shot.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach.
Sometimes doing that, I make everyone suffer, right? Because the thing takes forever. And but it's the best shot that I got. I mean, for better or worse. And at the same time, I wanted to have a back and forth with anyone who also likes the movie and gets to see the poster and enjoys it and enjoys the movie. And there's a conversation in the little pieces that make the poster up, and to share the experience of watching a movie. I feel that it's gotta be as well in the poster, and be able to have a conversation with the audience about these things in common that we have. That is the movie that we like, right? So it's that's why it's so complicated too, because it's I'm not sure that everyone likes the same bits that everyone enjoyed, or maybe they didn't. And I'm kind of putting this poster a little off the mark. But yeah, it's a balancing act in a way. How to best do it for as many people as get to see the poster.
I was saying this Spider-Man poster. I remember the direction we got from the studio. They wanted you to show. Where's he from? Queens and Manhattan at the same time, and show Peter Parker, but also show him the Spider-Man at the same time. They had so much at the same time stuff they wanted us to show, and you did it brilliantly with this concentric circles being knocked out, so you could show both elements at once.
And this was before the movie released.
Yeah,
so we only had the trailer to go on.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do remember that being some pretty confounding, wild art direction coming in on that one.
Yeah, that was a big part of their brief. Like Rob said, they wanted to show the big focus of the movie was Peter Parker in addition to Spider-Man. So they wanted the balance to be kind of 50-50. And we just kind of gave that note to Martin.
And here's what comes back.
Yeah, and he nailed it. You know, he made it a way that still uniquely fits within his.
If there's one thing that I probably took from working in advertising for that long, is that I'm not really scared of any request from client at all. I mean, it's the fun is how to actually get it done for them, right? I actually enjoy that challenge in a way. Sometimes it's really complicated and someone's got to give, but I do enjoy the restrictions that come with the project. That's a way to looking at it.
This Looper poster is another example of you just not taking it easy on yourself. Same with that Spider-Man. You seem to have this thing where you want to try to do double the work on every poster, and so this one you did the thing where you intersected everyone with each other and had to make it all fit together.
If I hadn't done this thing here, we wouldn't have had the Spider-Man poster later. I mean, it's a similar kind of graphic concept.
Wait, are you saying the Looper poster? Looper, the Spider-Man poster?
Looper is pretty much the same thing, right? I mean,
it's so brilliant.
The problem with Looper poster is that the rendering is weird, because I was trying to do something different with the rendering style, and I'm not sure it was really successful at all.
It's so brilliant, though, just having Bruce Willis, the gun cutting off at one end and circling back to kill himself. It's perfect. It's
got its heart in its right place. It didn't come out really cool. I mean, someone else could have done it better. This would have been better if I sketched it for someone else, and then someone else took that idea.
Oh, like a concept artist. But again, we do have to point out this was what, 8 years ago. I mean, this poster didn't come out yesterday either. So with where movie posters were 8 years ago, it's pretty good poster. Yeah, and then you've got things like this Mummy poster that are, I mean, yeah, it's.
Whew, we could never do it again now. So many people on there. That's beautiful. Oh God, yeah, we did the hieroglyphic version too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rob, you want to tell the story about the hieroglyphic version?
Whoa, yeah, you got the variant version there. That was.
I had to hunt down someone who could translate into hieroglyphics. I went through registries, found one person who answered, and he was dead. But his daughter answered and grew up with him, and she goes, "But I know how to do it." So I was like, "Oh, great!"
I'm getting some text messages from our marketing team, and we want to do a giveaway. This is kind of an on-the-spot giveaway. The prize will be one of Martin's sold out The Ways of the Forest foil variants. So first person to respond in the chat with the correct answer that I see will win that. So the question is, This is a team effort question too. I don't know how many brains were behind this, but it's an excellent question. Which Golden Girl played the role of Akmina, the night shift bartender in the Star Wars Holiday Special?
See how fast people can Google.
I would say it so bad. I know you mentioned it off the bat.
You have to know two things.
Is it Betty White?
How about the Golden Girls?
No. don't give any hints. There's only 4 they can choose from, so everybody has a 25% shot. I'm gonna highlight the correct answer, the first one that I see that comes in.
Double points if they can also name the comedian who played the bartender, the Holden Towers bar.
Someone has the right Golden Girl. They just don't have the name here. All right,
and also the song she sings.
They're all coming in here. I see John R. Price.
I see Law Beat. Wait.
Oh wait. Oh no. There's Lawrence Dwayne. Both of y'all. I highlighted John. We're gonna give you both a foil variant. We'll print another one, or we'll find it. It'll be edition of 326.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
But yeah. So Lawrence Dwayne, Divya, if you're watching, take these names down. Lawrence Dwayne and John R. Price are our 2 winners of the.
All of a sudden, there's like 20 John R. Prices in the world.
If you guys can reach out to how should we do this? Again, this is kind of on the spot, so let's find a way
to reach out to the Mondo contact email. I say
maybe reach out to the Mondo contact email or DM us on Twitter, and we'll get you taken care of, and we'll get all the correct information and all that. Oh, back to our regularly scheduled programming here.
Wow, that was quite the giveaway.
Yeah.
I've had artists email about that poster today and said, I don't know if I can help you. So
got to tune into our live streams, man. Giveaways this week. I love this Thor poster. Another one of my favorites.
Do you remember the notes on that from the
There were some notes on this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't it that he looked too mad and they wanted him to look prettier?
He looked too angry, and we're like, he's the god of thunder. They're like, well, we're trying to get him some romantic comedies, man.
Yeah, he's Chris Hemsworth. Come on, he's not actually Thor. This poster is amazing, and again, for the time period, this is a kinetic energy that we had not seen in screen prints and in posters. You got to understand, when we're showing these posters, we're showing 10 years of history here, and posters have changed a lot since Martin started doing posters, and probably a lot of that is due to Martin.
Yeah, whoa. I don't see anybody else really doing this kind of like amazing stylized lightning. This is like a continuation of what he did with the Bride of Frankenstein lightning strike on her hair. Oh my God. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this is that's what makes this lightning here is just so, I don't know. It's an amazing piece. Sorry, I got flustered. And
it is. Yeah. Well, Martin, the thesis of this is pretty much.
Yeah.
I said the thesis of this is pretty much you're the best and you've changed the game, and we all appreciate your work in posters.
Yeah.
So it's all your fault. It's all your fault.
You've kept me employed here for a decade.
For so many years, that was Mitch's first go-to if we ever got in an argument. Oh yeah, I'm the guy who found Martin Ansin right there.
That's not true. It'd be more like, Rob, you telling me you should tell them you're the one that found Martin Ansin.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start wrapping it up here, guys. I want to thank Martin. Thank you for popping on and talking about just kind of your career and the Star Wars poster with us, man. It was a blast to have you here. And of course, thank you, Mitch and Rob, for showing up as well. Everybody else, again, this is kind of day one of our Comic-Con 2020 at home edition. Again, every day we'll be doing new releases and panels and live streams. So, be sure to tune in. We have a lot of fun stuff planned, and I know the world is super hard and tough right now, and hopefully we can give you guys a couple hours of some fun and escape from all of that. So really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, and look forward to more fun later in the week. So with that said, we will see you back tomorrow. We have 2 panels tomorrow. We have a Mondo Artist Live Talk moderated by Mitch Putnam here. And we have an evening with toys. The artist talk is at 1 p.m. Central Time, and the evening with toys is at 4 p.m. Central Time. So we look forward to seeing everyone. Martin, thank you again. And take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.